couple times a year that I get a little melancholy. I am a spring and summer girl, so when the summer's coming to the end, and actually it's ironic because then my birthday's coming up in early September, but I kind of mourn the leaving of summer and it being light out later in the evenings. I love, love, love the long days. I love sunshine early in the morning. I love getting up and hearing the birds when I'm first waking up. And so there's a little bit I have to manage my feelings around that time, knowing that, yes, there are seasons and it will, yes, come back, and yet I have that feeling of sadness. I also have that sadness as we're putting away all the Christmas decorations and taking down the tree and the lights are no longer twinkling in the house. I probably, some years, have just as many lights around in the house as I do outside the house. And I love, love, love Christmas lights, and which is one of the reasons why you're still seeing Christmas in here. Yes. And I'll mourn when all that comes down. It's not quite that time yet for me. But I have melancholy during that time as well, when it's time to put Christmas away and move on to whatever next. You know, I've been thinking a lot this last 2 to 3 weeks probably, that perhaps, and I think it's necessary that we find a way to hold Christmas all year long. I feel it less in these years, later in life, because I remember as a young girl and Christmas somehow felt longer. And we shopped differently. I remember us going Christmas shopping and being in the stores and hearing the music and being in the crowd and seeing the decorations and everybody saying Merry Christmas and there's lots of well-wishing and it's just a beautiful, beautiful time of year. There were concerts. There were a lot more family gatherings. Gosh, you know, all of my folks that I've lost in the last 30 years were living then. You know, so we were going to everybody's houses. There were meals. There were desserts. There were more desserts.
Oh, were there any desserts?
There were desserts. And then some days we had more dessert. You know, there was my grandmother with the light in her eyes always, and, you know, my grandfather with his jokes and teasing us kids, and, you know, all of my cousins, and then there got to be the next generation. There was just, my grandparents lived in this tiny little house, and we all packed in there, and the windows would be sweating, and it was just a fantastic, fantastic time. And, you know, my family had a routine for how we decorated the house, and my sister was the organizer of all the decorations. So she would start to bring things out and set them up. And many of these decorations she made herself because she was talented like that. I was in a much different line when God was giving out that talent. And so Christmas just seemed protracted. I don't know if that was just because I was younger and life just feels different and you don't feel the passage of time like we do now. But somehow there seemed to be more Christmas spirit. And somehow it was everywhere, all the way down to hearing the Salvation Army bell ringing outside. I don't know that I've been anywhere and heard that bell in the last number of years. You know, we now shop online, and everything comes to the house. We're not out with people, doing things with people, and sharing things with people. And so the holidays feel different to me. They're still special, but they're special in a different way. And I find myself having to work harder or to be more conscious of making the holidays feel special in this new way that we live and that we are with each other. You know, they call Christmas a season of peace, starting with Advent, and we seem to be more conscious of our spiritual beliefs during that time like it's already passed. Yeah, because I'm already feeling it. I already have that melancholy thinking of taking down decorations. And so what must we do to hold Christmas in our hearts? And not just let it be some season that comes and goes, a week or two in December, where we give presents, go shopping, do what we do, have meals together, desserts and more desserts. Somehow the desserts have lingered all these decades later. Even though I find that I buy more than I make myself. There used to be that cookie baking day that we had at my house. Yeah, nice memories. But I think more importantly, it is this feeling of connection that I think comes alive during the Christmas season. This feeling of knowing that we belong to each other. This feeling of wanting to be with each other and to share something special and to create a memory around this time. Maybe it is because we have lost so many. And sometimes it is hard to step into the season cloaked in our grief. I know I find it hard. Some years I find it nearly impossible to get into the Christmas season wearing my grief. I'm getting a little better at being in both feelings at the same time. To be in joy and grieving at the same time. To allow myself to cry with both sadness and joy in the same moment. I've told you before that I love the Christmas movies, and that's something my sister, my family, and I did together. And this year I watched less of them because I just wasn't ready to go there. Just wasn't ready to feel all the feelings I have, all the lyrics that my sister and I sang together, all those decades. The whole list of movies. I mean, we have, I don't know how many Christmas DVDs still around that we like to play on a regular basis. I think I watched 3 or 4 of my usual list of Christmas movies. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's that we do have some sadness now because we're in this place of life where there is a lot of loss. And I'm finding more ways to bring all those that I love forward with me into what life is now, to hold them in my heart and to hold those memories and hold them fresh and new in front of me and within me as I move forward, and then carry that through the year. I think this time of wanting to get together, and I actually started this earlier in 2024, where I'm just seeking out those I love far more often than I used to before. The heck with the fact that I'm busy and that there's a lot of things to do, because really all I want to do is be with those I love more often. Because that's the stuff that makes life rich. That's the stuff that makes us feel connected and loved and loving and challenged and ready to grow and feel a part of life. I think it's the well-wishing during the Christmas season that makes us feel connected to people we don't even know that we're passing in the stores, that perhaps even just driving by. How can we carry that through the year? Can we continue to do that and not feel weird about it, not feel like something's corny about it, but to continue to say hi to people, continue to wish them well, Continue just to go forward, not waiting for them to come to us, but being the one who's always shedding the light and bringing that light of Christmas through every single month of the year. And letting ourselves feel that love on a daily basis, not waiting for Thanksgiving or for the decorations to go up in the store to let us know that it's time now for us to start reaching out once again. How can we take those we love forward into the year? Maybe we do decorate more. I don't know. Maybe Christmas lights need to be up 365 days of the year. I could go with that. Maybe there is a reason to decorate, to celebrate more often. I think there is, especially since it feels like time is moving so very fast. I think we better celebrate every single moment that we can, because we never know if there's another, or if the one we love celebrating now will be here for the next moment. We just don't know, do we? The more life moves, the more I realize how very precious and dear it is. And the more I know that the things I have to do will still be there, gosh darn it, when I get back from spending time with those I love. It does take work. You know, we have to be really, really conscious of how we're living and how we plan our days. We have to be really, really conscious of what our priorities are for ourselves and with each other. And so somehow we have to get out of that circular motion of life like the hamster in the wheel. Just running on the wheel, because the wheel will run as long as we run. The wheel only stops when we stop. The wheel only slows down when we slow down. And so at moments when I think that train, that freight train that I think I'm on, that's just barreling down the tracks, I have to remember that I am in the conductor's seat. Train doesn't move without me. I can change tracks, I can slow down, I can stop in a station and be there for however long I want to be there. I can decide I want to get off one train and get on another and choose different people to come with me. I can add cars to my train and put more people on it than were on before. I can put people on it that I don't know and may never know, but I just want to gather them around me and let them know that they are loved and that I'm thinking of them and that they matter. And I can be more conscious of that place Mark Nepo was talking about in that reading, that center of ourselves that is the core of love in life. Because I think everything, I know everything springs from that. Everything I've ever wanted, everything I've ever needed springs from that. And the more I am in that spot, the more I'm conscious of it, the more I commune with that spot when I am in prayer meditation. Here it comes again, prayer meditation. The more I am with that feeling that I have when I am there, the more I am acquainted with who I am at my core, the more I will spring forward in love. And that fount that Laura so beautifully read about is there for me. The living waters, the inexhaustible living waters are there waiting for me to drink. And to drink in every moment so that I can drink in every moment of life with joyous expectation, with resolve, with confidence, with courage, and perhaps with sadness and with our grief folded up in our hearts. It all makes life so rich. It all makes life blissful. We have those moments I love to talk about and love to feel, where I just feel like my heart is going to sing, and my heart is singing. You know, those moments where you see somebody special and they light up and you light up. Those moments when you're just in a hug and you linger for a few moments and just let yourself be hugged. My neighbor across the street and I have connected in a new way. It's interesting. We've been living across the street from each other probably for about 15 years. We lived there before they moved across the street. And probably about a month and a half ago, we were both outside at the same time and we said hello to each other. And he let me know that he had just been diagnosed with cancer and he had some fear and it was waking him up in the middle of the night. And I really think he just needed to vent. He needed somebody to talk to. And so we had a moment. We stayed outside for about 45 minutes, close to an hour, just talking. Really, really talking. For the first time in 15 years. And so I told him that I would pray for him and I would be there for him if he needed me. He was going to have treatments 5 days a week for about 6 weeks to have radiation and chemo. And he was afraid. And his wife doesn't have the best of health. And so she was getting tired because he was already into the first week. And sometimes he was down at the clinic for 5-6 hours at a time. And I told him, well, if Charlotte's tired, call me. And we exchanged phone numbers for the first time in 15 years. And now, in the last 6 weeks, we have texted and called each other just to say hi, to say good morning. How are you feeling? Do you need anything? One Sunday, he fixed us dinner, roasted us chickens. Oh, they were good. Oh, my gosh. Out there on the smoker for hours. And I went over and collected dinner and brought it back home. We hug each other every time we see each other now. And it's just wonderful. So he texts some days, his wife texts some days, and we're just going back and forth. Sometimes we just meet out front and say hello. We see each other again, we get big hugs. But now he's one of the riders on my train in my life, this journey that I'm on. Somebody who was just sitting across the street all this time, the last 15 years. But we connected at a time when he needed it and I needed it. Because now he gives me family. He gives me more family with so much of mine gone. He even texted the other day to remind us to cover our outside pipes because the cold is coming and he didn't want to have pipe breaks. And 2 minutes after he texted, his wife texted. He said, oh my God, he's driving me crazy. I don't want him to drive you crazy. And I said, oh, I love this so much. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. But look what can happen if we just open up. And then things that could not happen before, relationships that were not there before, relationships that were not as open and loving and deep and authentic and life-affirming and healing can happen in a moment if we'll just open up. If we'll just know that there's something more to life, there can be, if we will be something more in life. If we will go to that center and say, I want to keep love alive, we'll commit to keeping love and peace and whatever the Christmas season means to you, alive throughout the year. I think perhaps I will watch Christmas movies even when it's not Christmas. Because that is surely when I feel my sister sitting beside me. And how nice would that be to be in May or June and to still have the memory of her voice so close to me that I don't have to wait 12 more months to experience that again. The nice thing is we get to make up the rules for our lives. I guess the Christmas police are not going to show up at my house if I'm watching White Christmas in May. And if they do, I can put them out. Because you get to do your life the way you want to. And if you want more love, you just got to love more. If you want more harmony and unity, you just got to be willing to be that more. You got to be the one who moves forward with it first and be the light that somebody sees in your eyes. When I look at each of you, whenever I see you, I see that light. Please give that to every single person you come into contact with. Even if you're on the phone, think of them with love. Because that's the same thing. It's the same light. And they may not be able to see your eyes, but they can feel your energy. They can feel you. And I know how each of you has lit up my life. How wonderful would that be if you just let that fly 365 days of the year? You know, with all the stuff that's hit the fan in the last couple of weeks, between trucks driving into crowds, other trucks blowing up in front of buildings, more shootings, drones flying around, whatever the heck that is. With all the stuff that's going, we need more light every single day. We're it, people. We're it. If we sit and wait for others to do it, it may never, ever happen. And then we end up killing ourselves in this world. What are you choosing for 2025? What do you want? What do you really want? What do you want so badly that you're willing to be that in the world? You can just pick one thing. Pick one thing that's in alignment with goodness and love. And be that every single day. Wake up in the morning knowing that you are going to be that. Ask Spirit to give you opportunities to be that as often as possible. And to give yourself in service to the world and to yourself, because those gifts, that gift that you give to others will come back to you many, many times. I know you're capable of it. I watch you do it here. We just have to decide. We have to commit. We have to be ready to give and to receive and to be the light, to express the light that you are, the light that I see, the light that I experience. The light always heals the darkness. Always, always, always. But it waits for us to shine it forth. So I invite you to come with me and be beacons of brilliance, of love and peace and joy and compassion and harmony and unity, of calm, of wisdom, self-mastery, imagination. All things bright and beautiful. And we can change the world. Not just our little world, but this planet with all 8 billion plus beings. take this in a prayer meditation. So I invite you in this moment to choose something. Choose something. Choose something that's one of your innate gifts, something that you're already doing without thinking. Something that you choose to shine and shine brightly 365 days of the year. A gift that's in alignment with all the wonderful things that represent Christmas that you can give on a daily basis to yourself and to others. Choose a word and write it on your heart in this moment. Affirm that you are that energy. What is it you will bring forth through the rest of this winter? The impending spring, the warm days, the hot days of summer, the emerging autumn, and a new winter. And then as Christmas 2025 rolls in, you will already be in the Spirit. For you have expressed that Spirit all year long. You, like Jesus, showed up as the light of the world. Not just for a few days in December, but every single day of the year. Hold that word and hold it in your heart. And ask Spirit, how do I express this more boldly, more openly, more lovingly? More consistently? Ask Spirit for opportunities to give it in abundance to everyone that you come into contact with. Ask Spirit in this moment to overflow into your heart that same energy to pour more of it into your life than your two arms can hold. So that each and every day, you are feeling God in abundance in your mind, your body, your spirit, and your heart. And you'll have so much of that energy that you've chosen that you can't find enough people to give it to. And you're trying to find ways to be more creative, to find more people who need what you have to offer, your gift, that only you can give in the way that you give it. So in this moment, hold that word again in your heart, knowing that it is etched there. I want you to relax into it, knowing that it is you indeed, it is you. And that you are called to dispense it to this world in a very special way. And that you are a part of healing this world. You are necessary, you matter to the healing of this world. And without the sharing of your gifts, something will be lost. Someone will be left without your unique gift. And so we speak this word into law, knowing that it is done now in pure potentiality and is being manifested within you, here and now. You are it. You are it. And so we breathe in life and love, and we exhale life and love. Breathe in the energy of that word you've chosen, and then exhale it, knowing that it is inexhaustible. It is overflowing now within your heart and your mind, your body and your soul. You're flooding it into your world and into the world. That Mother Nature and all of her 8 billion are saying thank you in this moment. Thank you. Thank you for stepping forward and shining a light for me. The world is grateful for each of you. I am grateful for each of you. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.